Welcome to TCP's Rookie Profile episode again. We're doing Kalen Ballage today, running back out of Arizona State. But first, I'm here with the boys, Jay up.
What's up, guys?
And James up.
Hello.
And Travis Sutton.
Hey,
Hello.
Travis. Hey, guys.
Hi.
You let me say hi to you, bro.
Hello.
Hello. Okay.
6'1", 228, 22 years old. This kid is a beast. He looks rocked up.
He looks like Antonio Davis.
Antonio Davis from the Raptors and
NBA player, but he's 7 foot tall, and this guy's only 6'1". Can't teach that.
You can't.
Whoa! On this it says he's listed at 6'3". I don't know what he's wearing. Stilts in this picture or what?
Yeah, the combine he came in at 6'1".
Okay, that's what I believe then.
So he shrunk.
Yeah, maybe.
He took the risers out.
His lifts.
All right, so this kid, his college production is very underwhelming.
Mm-hmm.
Never got to the heavy workload. He always had somebody kind of
Lurking.
coming in and getting everything from him. But he can catch. He tested very decently, actually pretty well at the combine. He ran 4.4, 4.46.
That's good for how big he is.
It's pretty
really
it's not
good.
bad.
No, that's good.
His 3-cone is sub 7, so he's got some phone booth quicks, so to speak, in small spaces. Can move around pretty well.
Hit him with his bench press though.
Hit him with it. Quince.
Only 15
Yeah.
reps.
That was surprising.
6'1", 228, and he lifted it 15 times only, which was one of the worst
He's sandbagging.
for his future.
Yes.
That's interesting.
A better team, he's gonna...
This is one guy, like, we talk a lot about, it depends on where these guys land and their fantasy prospects going forward. This is one guy that literally, everything depends on where this guy goes, in my book.
Because of how it's going to
Everything.
be used, right?
Because, to me, when I started, like, watching the tape on it, it seemed to me like he was like a poor man's Duke Johnson. Like, Duke Johnson is one of the premier, like, third down backs. He's like a big pass catcher. They can line him up in the slot. That's the way I kind of see Kalen Ballage in NFL, on an NFL team. He has to land in the right spot, though. If he gets buried on the depth chart and he's only playing special teams for the first year or two, you're going to have to either wait on this guy or you have to cut bait. Like, you're not going to be able to hold on to this.
Speaking of the
That's a
kicker,
very pessimistic view.
speaking of the special teams, though, he did return a lot of kicks, and as he stayed there, he kept getting more and more. He was on getting punts, getting kick returns, so on and so forth. So I think that actually holds a little bit of weight with teams, that they know that if he isn't getting the ball or he's kind of starting slow in the whole running back option, at least they know that he can play special teams, he can do kick returns and punt returns, and it just adds a little bit of value to him where if he is getting buried on that depth chart as running back, he can still get some playing time other positions and kind of prove himself, even if it does take a year or two down the line and waits for things to happen. At least he has a position to go to that's not concrete. Hey, you're not a good running back, we're going to cut you.
Yeah, I think
He does other things.
if you can play special teams, you're most
Solid.
likely going to get a job.
Yep.
You're most likely going to get drafted. What the situation is, yeah, I agree with Jay. It's very dependent on what that looks like on the team he goes to. He's probably going to be more of the pass catching back, like you guys are saying.
Do you see him?
He does have the ability. I think if he's in a decent spot and an injury or two happens, like they always do, that if he gets thrust into a role, he could do okay. He could do well. I don't know if he's going to be the end-all, be-all for you on your fantasy team.
No.
But he could be a good flip player, or he could be a guy that could just fill in and give you some depth.
Well, that's what kind of worries me about, like, coming from a fantasy perspective, is that this guy is going in the second round of your rookie draft, and I don't know if I want to take him that high.
I would.
I'm just looking
for a
at
shot, like a lottery ticket, because
I
if he
think
comes
it's
in,
a little. I think it's a little better odds than like a lottery ticket. I think like his athletic profile, his receiving kind of chops, and some of those things I think are going to give him a better shot on a team and be drafted maybe higher than some other guys that you might like a little bit better. But honestly, if they get drafted a round or two behind him in the NFL draft, they don't have as good of a shot most likely to have an impact or have time to make an impact. So I mean, yeah, I need running backs in my fantasy kind of situation.
Right.
So I'm targeting Ballage. I'm targeting a few guys that's deep in running back. So any ones that I kind of like, I'll probably take shots on.
well, the reason he made national headlines basically in 2016 is because he scored 8 touchdowns in one game, and that was against Texas Tech. It mostly came out of the Wildcat formation, but that put him up and above because that was like, I think he tied a record with that. 8 touchdowns, 7 rushing, and one receiving.
Mm-hmm.
And for the whole season, he only scored 14 touchdowns.
And 8 were in one game.
Right. And he played a lot behind Demario Richard from Arizona State, both years, 16 and 17. 2016, 2017. Played basically splitting carries. So, like you said, there's not a lot of wear and tear. And he didn't get a lot of carries. He never won the job outright. It wasn't like, oh, he's going to back this guy up and
is
then
that
next
good
year's
though,
his
or is
year.
that bad? So he's getting less carries, which I like that he has less mileage on his legs when he's getting to the NFL. But that also kind of leans toward the fact of like he was never that tier of a player to take over the job completely and just basically put that guy as like, hey, now you're going to be the third down back because Ballage is running the ball so well that he's going to take over the starting job. So it's kind of, I don't know, that to me is kind of like a catch-22 type of thing where it's like, yeah, it's great that he doesn't, but that means to me that how's he going to come in the NFL and still carries away from NFL running backs when he couldn't take the full job from in college, which maybe that's an Arizona State type of thing, though, that they wanted to play 2 running backs. They didn't really care.
They were playing like 3.
That's what I mean. And maybe that's just their style, like fresh running backs, keep them coming in. But if I'm the guy there, I want the bulk of the carries to prove that, I can carry the workload, and I just didn't really see that because he didn't have that opportunity.
Yeah,
he was a senior. That was all 4 years he was there. He never was really just by himself.
Correct.
Ever.
And I said he played behind Demario Richard, but it wasn't necessarily behind him.
Yeah,
it was just like a split.
Yeah.
But I think he was behind him, though. I think they very quickly gave Richard, the main... I mean, all 3 of those guys on that team seemed like they were relatively close in carries. But I'm not super well-versed in the college game. I'm pretty new to following it, trying to learn about it. But from what it seems like, it's hard to... You want to know how a guy profiles or transitions to the NFL, but it's almost like apples and oranges, the college and NFL level, because you got different prospects or different recruits coming in, and sometimes guys just... There's so many guys, or some schools have so much talent on a team, like Georgia, where they're loaded at running back, and it's like, yeah, the guy didn't get everything, but it doesn't mean he's not a quality or decent talent that can survive. And we've seen guys who did get all the workload and were highly touted college players who come in the league and they bust. So it's very hard to kind of really, I think, pinpoint a lot on that kind of thing for me about the guy's carries and what he was doing. But I think a big point that we've been talking about is he does play special teams, and we've seen guys that you can come in and, yeah, maybe you just get stuck and you're playing special teams, but he seems to have more traits that would, if that door cracks open a little bit at a tougher situation, that he could kind of get his foot in the door a little bit, because he does have those receiving shots. And nowadays in the league, if you can catch like that, you can
they'll find a spot.
Career. Yeah.
Yeah, they'll find a spot for you. I did like that he likes contact. He's not afraid. He doesn't go down at first. He doesn't look for the sideline, essentially. He likes contact. He always falls forward when he does get hit, which I like because he's a big back, 6'1", 228, which means that you can use him on short yardage carries, maybe even goal line carries, because he does fall forward, and he can line up in the slot as a wide receiver because of his size and because of his hands. We said that he has great hands. He has 9.5-inch hands, which is pretty actually big for a running back. But the negative that I didn't really like was he doesn't cut very well, and he runs upright. So being 6'1", if you're running upright, you're a gigantic target, and linebackers are going to eat that up. If you're standing straight up, that's why a lot of times in college when you're watching the film on him, he goes down at first contact sometimes, because he doesn't necessarily lower his shoulder and run in a tight, small, area. He's running straight up like he's running a 40-yard dash, and you get hit one time like that, it's very hard to keep your balance.
Well, that's what I saw a lot on the tape too, is that he, like, the first contact, he's going down. He doesn't break any tackles, and he's not very elusive. You just think for his size, being 6'1", 228, you think guys would be bouncing off of him in college. Now you're going to the pros, guys are a lot bigger, they're a lot faster than college. Is that going to translate? I think that he definitely makes an NFL team, and he's going to make an impact, but is it going to be on special teams first, and then you're going to have to kind of wait on this guy a little bit as far as dynasty goes? You're going to have to bury this guy in your taxi squad and just kind of wait and see.
I don't think so. I feel like he'll get a shot as more than special teams myself. That's just my opinion. I think... I like Kalen Ballage.
Are you looking at him like a 206? Like you have the sixth pick of the second round. Is that where you're looking at him?
3 picks in the second round. They're middle to front. They're kind of all.
He's going at number 16 right now, according to DFL.com.
That's 204
or DLF, sorry.com. 204.
Yeah, so Yeah, I would. Depends on what's going on around there. What other running backs are sitting there?
John Kelly is going one spot ahead of him at 15. So all right in one area. Kerryon Johnson at 14, John Kelly at 15, Kalen Ballage at 16. So all three of those guys are right there. Then there's not another one till number 21.
Which
so
is
it
who?
sounds like Mark Walton, running back from Miami.
Okay. So they have him in the right spot as far as all those, mock drafts go. They have him in the right spot. I have him behind those two.
Yeah, but those three guys, that's all right where you're around, isn't it? 2-0, what do you have again?
I have a 3, 4, and 6.
3, 4, 6. You could get potentially all three. If you go running back heavy, you're going to be stacked right there. Like you said, I'll take all three. Kerryon Johnson, John Kelly, Kalen Ballage. One of the three is going to work out. But yeah, I think that Ballage does have upside because of his passing. And in fantasy relevance-wise, that's everything for me. We're in PPR leagues where you get a full point per reception, even if he doesn't. For example, I had Christian McCaffrey last year, okay? He did absolutely nothing rushing. He never rushed over, I think, 50 yards maybe in a game, maybe once or twice, but never got any rushes and still finishes the number 10 overall running back in our fantasy league because of a PPR. He caught whatever it was, 80 balls or 70 balls, whatever it was. I lost track, but you have Jonathan Stewart there who wasn't that great, and he didn't even get any rushing, like he didn't steal rushes from him. He just did it all in the passing game. So if you have a guy that can catch on an offense that likes to throw, he could easily, be one of the top rookie running backs coming out, not necessarily rushing wise, but just receiving.
That's why I say it depends on where this guy goes.
Yeah.
If he goes to an ideal situation, I could completely change my outlook on this guy. I want to see, like I said at the very beginning of this episode, I want to see where this guy goes because that hinges a lot for me.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I almost feel like just from some things that, we learn something every year. And just this last year, I do put stock into where a guy goes in a situation, but I also don't get completely scared off of a guy because he goes to a less than optimal situation. Because I picked up a guy off waivers, Corey Clement, and he was buried. Everybody's like, oh, you got the 6th running back. Oh, he's got no value, blah, 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 blah. But he was able to make his way up and get some work. And now going into next year, it looks like he's kind of
splitting,
foothold.
50-50.
Yeah, putting a foothold in that backfield. So
did you trade him?
I did. So I think even if he goes to a less than ideal situation, I like his profile enough that I would take a shot on him.
Traded him for Kevin White.
Yes, I did. Who I like better than Corey Clement. They're both shots.
Okay.
Shots fired.
So you compared him to Duke Johnson. I also read that they're comparing to Rashad Jennings, which, again, same type of guy. He's just a third down guy that can catch the ball out of the backfield. I think he has the potential to be better than Rashad Jennings. Duke Johnson, I'm not really sure on yet because Duke Johnson had a really big year last year.
That's why I said I think he's a poor man's Duke Johnson. But Duke Johnson was a guy when he came out of college that they said that he could run on first and second down. But since he's been in the NFL, they don't give him carries.
It's because it's Cleveland.
And maybe that's just the way Cleveland wants to use him. But they don't really give Duke Johnson carries. And every year you kind of thought, well, okay, maybe he'll steal some carries away from Crowell. And that just never happened. Even last year when Crowell had a kind of a down year because of the offensive line issues, Duke still didn't get any carries.
This guy squats over 500 pounds. Like that's ridiculous. How's he going down in first contact?
I heard
that's what I don't understand. Like he's such a big guy. You think that he would break a couple of tackles, and he just when I was watching tape, he just didn't break tackles.
I don't know. I mean, what percentage of his whole game do we see watching any kind of tape though? I'm sure he's broken some tackles.
Right.
I googled can get Kalen Ballage break tackles, and that's what the highlight I watched.
And Google said no.
So you asked Jeeves.
Jeeves, he's a savage.
Jeeves is a psychopath. He also had mono in college. I don't know, kissing a lot of
people.
I don't know if it's girls, guys. Not gonna speak on that.
We don't get into that.
Yeah. No.
But he's rocked up, man. So I think he's got the strength. And if another note for me, like if he is a third down back and he's got a smaller role, if you're bringing that guy in and he's that size and got that kind of strength as the third down back, who's normally a kind of a smaller guy. Like, there's a lot of things that I like about the profile. I'm not I don't think it's going to be, first round relevant drafting this kid, but for what's going on in the second round and what's going on after that, like, I would take a shot on him.
You like him more, or do you like him more than Rashad Penny?
No.
Okay. I just didn't know how high you actually. I mean, Rashad Penny's going in the top 7 right now in rookie drafts, but
yeah, so that's kind of.
What about Royce Freeman?
Crazy.
Because
they're close for me. They're close. I might lean. They're close, man. They're close.
I agree. Like one's going at 11, the other one's going at 16, and I'm not really sure that
they should be that far apart.
Yeah,
I think Royce Freeman's, I have him just a little bit higher than Ballage because he does run on first and second down and catches the ball. Probably not as polished as a receiver as Ballage, but he make up for that with the carries.
Like, to put that in perspective, they weigh the same, about almost 230, 228, 229, but Freeman's 2 inches shorter, so he's even more stocky and built.
Meat house.
Right, for sure. But yeah, Kalen Ballage, I think that definitely depends on where he goes, and I think that he should have a decent career, especially with not too many miles on his legs. He should be fresh as a daisy. Even though he's coming out as a senior and he played 4 years of college, this guy's...
Well, wasn't it Royce Freeman that had all the miles?
Yeah, that's what
I think Ballage's entire college career carries is less than Royce Freeman's senior year.
Pretty much. I mean, Royce Freeman's ran the ball 1,650,000 times. It's just ongoing.
So that window for you of like no miles on the tires and like too many miles on
that's
the
tires
gauge.
Royce Freeman's the
It's
highest,
gonna be a small window right
and
there.
Ballage is the lowest, and everyone else
Freeman's
gets
the
in between.
ceiling, and Ballage is the floor.
I'm like, are you more Ballage or are you more Freeman? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, oh, do you carry the ball 1,000,000 times or 10 times? I want to know. I want to know how much cartilage is left in the knees. I want to know how good the ankles are. I want to know how good the hips are. I want to know all that. So if you're only running the ball, half the amount of times as this other guy, and you're still only going 4 picks after or 5 picks after him, yeah, I'll take the fresher legs. I'll take the fresh legs. I hate injuries.
He averaged over 4 yards a carry his last 2 years.
Yeah.
I know, but I keep seeing guys that are rushing like 6.5 yards a carry in college, 7.5 yards a carry.
See, it's
like
different.
the top backs.
It's different than the NFL. Even
It's all offenses. All the offenses they run, and a lot of it is different in college.
But he didn't get a lot of carries. What I'm trying to say, like he.
Right, so he should have had a higher average.
Well, how do you extrapolate that?
How?
Yeah.
Because he's fresh. So if he's getting, remember you said that was your argument that you used against me a while ago, that if a running back, let's say, is only averaging 10 carries a game, and the other guy that's running with him is averaging 20 carries a game, the guy that's running 10 times a game should have a higher average yard per carry because he's fresh and he's not running the ball as much. He's a change of pace back. So when he does come in, he should be getting the bigger bulk of the carries. Is what you guys used against me, I believe. It was like 3 or 4 months ago when I was like, "How is that possible?"
That was Travis.
Okay. You remember though, right? I was like, well, I'm like, what do you mean? I'm like, give him more carry. Oh wait, it wasn't Zach Zenner, but it was somebody that was averaging like 6 yards a carry. I'm like, this guy's averaging 6 yards. The starting running back's averaging 3.5. Why would you not give this guy?
No, the argument was if you're getting the more carries, then toward the end of the game. And a lot of times you're getting that short yardage stuff, so that's going to affect your yards per carry.
Okay.
So I don't know if that necessarily in turn means that just because you get less carries, you should have a higher yard.